Well, choking, always a good way to start a stream. Anyway, we are live from Columbus, OH, and this is Answering Your Financial Questions Live, number 184. Choking, always a good way to start a stream. We got audio. We are all good. It's coming up on the last Friday of September 2025. Time keeps on slipping into the future, as we all know. Let's get going. I am, of course, Coach Steve Money. I'm a Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach, not just some guy. And you're watching this on youtube.com/Coach Steve Money for my financial content. Just scroll past the Oak Island and Skinwalker Ranch playlists, and you'll find the Ramsey Show After Show playlist, and the Answering Your Financial Questions playlist, and the music playlist that has 12 Ramsey adjacent songs in there. Oh, let's do an older one. How about the very first one that I wrote? And it's what is it? If you want to have financial peace, then you should do the baby steps. And so the full song of that one is in there. So listen to those if you're so inclined. If you're a better singer than me, by all means, record yourself singing the song to a karaoke version, is that how you pronounce that, of the music, and maybe I'll play it on the after show sometime. Let's look at some questions. Market finished up today. That's all I have to say about that. I talk a lot more about the market on the after show, but on the stream it's basically just questions. Oh, and of course, whatever rants I want to go on, whatever tangents I would like to journey off to as well. Real Presence 1, brokerage account as emergency fund and or in place of an HYSA. That's going to be your high yield savings account. And people just love to try to think of new things to do that aren't the advice. Let's read it before I say anything else. What do you think of using a brokerage account, stocks, and cryptos? Are you new? Are you not familiar with Mr. Ramsey's advice? Anyway, stocks as an emergency fund and or in place of a high yield savings account. Okay, so stocks and cryptos, in case you didn't know it, Mr. Ramsey does not advise either of those things. Too risky. So that's a no on those things, regardless of the location they would be invested in. So that's a no. But as far as anything you would use for a brokerage account, you got to have at least a 5-year window before you need the money, because the market has a much higher chance of being down right when you need the money in a time span shorter than 5 years. Once you get to 5 years and more and higher than 5 years, it becomes a much higher percentage that it's going to go up. Least likely when it's very, very unlikely to go down. And so that's a no. So you got to have 5 years, and you don't know if it'll be 5 years before you have an emergency. Another thing to think about always, and of course the Ramsey team does not mind if you put your emergency fund in a high yield savings account, and that is guaranteed to, that will only go up by the amount of the interest that it earns. That will not go down. And so they do. They don't say they're fine with it. Rachel specifically has her emergency fund, I know, in a high yield savings account. But as far as my advice, I say don't do that. I say put it in a local bank so that you have it near you, and a loved one can go to said bank and get the money out if she needs to, because, or he or she needs to, because in an emergencies don't wait 1 to 3 days to happen for that 1 to 3 day transfer. They don't wait. They don't wait. And so you might need the money faster. And you also got to be careful about that too, about it being even in a high yield savings account. Tell your freaking spouse or some family member, if you have no spouse, some other family member, or maybe even other 2 family members, where to get that. Because what if you are unable to log into your computer? What if you're in a coma or something? So high yield savings account, no brokerage account. Brokerage account, to use that, you would be you would need a 5-year window, no stocks or cryptos. Crypto, isn't crypto by itself, isn't that plural? I think it is. But regardless, there's neither of those. Also, another thing, people get this wrong too all the time. You do not do any other investing beyond the 15% while you still have a mortgage. 15% of gross income into retirement. You do not have extra savings beyond the full emergency fund, other than, of course, sinking funds for a specific thing. My favorite example of that is tires, when you might need tires. And so you can save up for that, because that's a specific thing. You don't have a slush fund. You don't have a, well, I just want to save some extra money. That's a no. You need to apply that money to baby steps instead. So you're doing it wrong. You're trying to think of ways to do it wrong. Stop it. Jascara? Jascara, what in the world? Can you see that? Oh, Jascaranalian. Okay. Jascaran alien. Okay. Might refer to some planet from some franchise, from some intellectual property, book, movie, TV show, something like that I'm not familiar with. Hard to save with pregnant wife. Pregnant women do be eating, don't they? And of course they do. They're eating for 2. So let's find out what the little problem is here. There are times when living the beans and rice life might be more feasible, but this does not feel like, for me, one of them. Yes, it is. Maybe not for the mom. Mom might have a couple other dietary needs. But for you, yes. In terms of food, my wife's cravings and aversions are changing constantly. I don't want her to suffer more than she already is. What part of it is I just want it, and her having symptoms from eating something that she doesn't like. Like if she all of a sudden can't have an apple because it'll make her throw up, that kind of thing. I mean, that kind of stuff does happen. But we don't need to make it more of a problem than it is. We don't need to exaggerate to make the point, because when you exaggerate to make the point, you often take away from your point because you're exaggerating. Where are we at? I don't want her to suffer more than she already is. The thought of having a few or even tens of thousands of dollars in retirement seems so aloof. You keep saying that word, aloof. I don't think that means what you think it means. Compared to the here and now of nothing we have sounds good. Let's order Thai food. You could get frozen Thai food from the grocery store. Or I need some kombucha. I think they have that at the grocery store too. So shut up with your dumb crap. And then there's the clothes. If there was ever a time when new clothes were a need, sure. There's also Goodwill that has perfectly good clothes. It's now when our body is changing. And then there's the nursery and all the baby stuff. Okay. But you don't need to go crazy. You don't have to do some kind of big $50,000 remodel like was on the Ramsey show this morning. Somebody thought they needed a $50,000 basement bathroom for their children to play in. And so it'd be easier for them to go to the bathroom downstairs in 5 years when they're old enough to do such a thing. So didn't need it now, but wants to do that now. So that would be bad and not a need. And so, yeah, new clothes aren't a need. I mean, she needs bigger clothes. Again, Goodwill. They're just temporary. It's just a temporary time. How much money do you want to spend on something that's going to be temporary? I wonder how much my pal Sid bought new clothes for, and I don't remember if my ex-wife bought any. She might have been given stuff. I don't remember. So I can't speak to that. But yeah, you can go to Goodwill, or hey, fine, get a couple of things. Guess what? You're probably not going out into the world a lot, so you don't need any Sunday go to meeting dress, maternity dress. You don't need any of that. And then there's the nursery and all the baby stuff. Too much, And some people think they need to buy an SUV as soon as they get pregnant with one child. Now, I had 2 children that lived through riding in a compact car, 2 of them both at the same time, and they lived, again, one is 21, the other's 29, so I think they'll be okay in your compact car. You don't need to buy an SUV, and you don't need to do all the baby stuff. Oh, this would be so cute for the baby. You don't have to buy everything. Especially when there's not even a baby yet. I mean, you can buy some stuff in advance, but there's not even a baby yet. So chill out. Yes, I'm sure there's ways to budget. Of course there are. It's now when our body is changing. What? Oh, no. Ways to budget at all. Yes, but I guess I'm asking in general terms, does the Ramsey method account for times in life when living a restricted life and saving just isn't feasible? Yeah, it is feasible. You just don't want to try hard enough to do it. It's going to be more difficult than if she were not pregnant. And it might take longer since she's pregnant. You shouldn't be doing anything anyway, because you should be on stork mode, and that's when you pause the baby steps. You still pay minimums to everything, but you are just saving money. And so how about we do a thing where we still, baby or not, how about we still live within our means? And so don't spend all your money. Okay, and if she likes Thai food and you seem to be ordering that a lot, get some from the grocery store. You don't have to order out all the time. So, not an excuse. Not an excuse. And so I know you want it to be. And I know she might not be reasonable about it. She might not even be on board with the whole Ramsey thing as much as you are. Who knows? But guess who you got to work that out with? Her. You two need to work it out. It's more, and so it doesn't really matter what we think about it, but that's what I think about it since you asked. Or was he just complaining, just saying, "Oh, it's hard to do that. I can't do that now." Oh, whiny. Quit being whiny. Use that as a part of life, right? So deal with it. Nobody, not anybody. Let's take a look here on the baby steps. Oh, I don't see anything on here where it says it's going to be easy. And no, there's not special rules for pregnancy either. It's the same thing. But for pregnancy, just like any other emergency, it's treated as an emergency. You pause the baby steps. You pay, if you're on step 2, you pay minimums on all of the debt, and you save up cash just in case there is some kind of medical emergency with mother or child. And then once mom and baby are home from the hospital and you have settled up with the hospital as far as what you owe them, then you go right back to the baby steps. And guess what happens when you go right back to the baby steps? Oh, look, you're still going to be on the same step you were on, which is step 2, if that's what you are on. And so didn't say what step. They're just trying to save money, which is the right thing if you are not talking about step 1 or step 3, but you are just pause the baby steps and you just pile up cash during that time. And you do the same thing if you have an emergency. Like if you lose your job or something like that, you would be just piling up cash until you get another one. And you need to get another one quick. You don't, people call up Dave a year later and say, yeah, I got laid off. And somehow I don't have an emergency fund anymore. I wonder how that happened. Didn't get your butt to work. Baby step 7, sneaky goo. My wife and I are in our early 30s and just made it to baby step 7 yesterday. Excellent. We don't have any friends, family that we can share this with, but I needed to say it somewhere. We are debt free. Not baby step 6 anymore. You need to change your flare here. Actually, not change it. You put the wrong flare on here because you're on baby step 7, right? So you got the wrong flare. So be all excited about it. Change the flare to the right one. And I get it. Yeah, a lot of people don't want to tell their friends and family, especially because a lot of time friends and family get their shot to be excited for you and to be included in all that. But then if they start giving you static like, oh, that's impossible to pay off debt, you can't do that. Or, or the fact that you did it, that means their dumbasses could do it too, but they just don't want to sacrifice. So, or they have a pregnant wife who needs everything right now, apparently. How about we hold off on the nursery and buying all the baby toys months and months and months before the baby is here. Also let other people buy it. That's what registries are for, right? Good ad 6942. BS3, baby step 3, single parent. Anyone save just 3 months of expenses? All right. I wouldn't advise that because you are a single parent. You don't have a spouse in the picture, apparently. And so who knows if child support is happening? Don't know. So I would recommend 6 months because you are in a more vulnerable position. But let's read what it says anyway. I put 6-month pause on my retirement. Good. Got $1,600 left of debt and then going to put money away for 3 months worth of expenses, $3K a month. Okay, I'm hoping I can hit 9K in 6 months. I've also changed, and you can also put a longer pause on your retirement until you save up the full emergency fund. See, it says save up your full emergency fund, and again, that it can be 3 months if you insist on it being that. But again, I'd recommend for a single parent, I would recommend 6 months, because you're on your own on this, unless the child is going to be kicking in money. Probably not going to the coal mine to work. Probably the child's not. I've also changed my withholding to claim my child. Good. So I'm looking to take home 1819 a check starting in October. I've cut as much expenses as I could. Have you though? I can generally find at least one thing to, if not say, cut this. You do not need this. I can at least point at something and say, well, maybe you consider taking this off. Maybe consider not this, because this is definitely not a need. So you might want to consider taking that off. Even cut off my home internet. Okay. Well, I mean, that's pretty heavy duty. So maybe she's right. Or he. Doesn't say. So maybe he or she has taken out everything possible, other than everything that's 100% necessary. Anyone else save 3 months worth, like I am working towards? Yeah, I did. I was a single, divorced man, with grown kids, though, and so fewer possible expenses that could pop up. With a child, again, you're more susceptible to Murphy knocking on your door and needing some money to take care of something. So that's why I do that. And you can do 3 months if you insist, but I, again, wouldn't insist on it, because Mr. Ramsey doesn't insist on it. But I would have you think about that. About, do you want to have something come up and then you only have 3 months of expenses, and that won't cover whatever might come up, some issue regarding your child. You probably don't want that to happen, do you? Low description 9789 subreddit to share budget and get ideas. When you just stare at something for way too long, that's me. I need some outside help on my budget. Is there a subreddit on Dave Ramsey to do this? Sorry, new guy here. Not that I'm aware of. There might be a r/budget, but also several people just post their budget here and get input on it. So, and it doesn't have to be, why does it have to be a separate thing? So, but I don't know. Like I said, there could be well, let's check. Let's check, shall we? Reddit.com/r/budget. Hey, look at that. Spreadsheet and budgeting spreadsheet contest. Budget feels like a puzzle I can't solve. Alrighty. And of course, you have to be willing to cut things to make the budget work. How is everyone driving a new car? They have payments on them, usually. How much money have you actually managed to save in your emergency fund? Hey, this is like a whole nother Ramsey thing. There could be financial red flag that people don't take seriously enough. Their own spending habits, usually. But there could be anything with another person that, friend or family, girlfriend, boyfriend, spouse. Some people are harmfully frugal. And that might just be your opinion. They might not actually be harmfully frugal. They're more common than one would think. maybe. I mean, I get it. If you're like not eating for 3 days because of you want to save the money instead, that might be an issue. But other things, is there an example here? Let's see. The point of self-harm, they won't own anything that isn't immediately necessary. And what's wrong with that? If they don't need anything, they don't need to buy anything. They have a mental illness about not spending money. If they don't need it immediately necessary, they may think they don't need it. So whereas you want to have something laying around in case you want it or need it, they don't do that. And so this is just your opinion, though, is what you're giving about what you think is harmfully frugal. And it's not harmfully at all. Because how are they being harmed? Just because they don't have X on the shelf at home and they would have to go get it after? Why can't they go get it at the time? I mean, you won't probably want to have a box of bandages at the house, right? You probably do want to have that, you know, and so I can get that. Anything like health related like that, sure, that we could talk about that, but you know, some of the stuff, this is all in the eye of the beholder. And some people think freaking Starbucks is necessary, immediately necessary. Some people think that. So that's so fun. Well, I can get some questions from here sometimes. Why I feel constantly poor with zero-based budgeting. Well, because you're giving every dollar a name. And so when you give every dollar a name and a purpose, oh, there suddenly becomes no extra money for whatever dumbass crap you want to buy that isn't necessary. That's probably why you feel constantly poor. But your finances are getting better. Do you want to have dumb crap you don't need, or do you want your finances to get better? You are the one that gets to choose that. Working 2 jobs just to kill one damn credit card balance. Yeah, you gotta you work more, spend less is the secret sauce to making that happen. And so quit bitching about it and do it. Get another job instead of posting on Reddit. So, and quit whining about it. You don't have to do 2 jobs. You can just keep the credit card if you want to be dumb. But that's not the Ramsey advice, of course. Anyone willing to help someone financially struggling build a budget? And 43 comments there. So probably got some legitimate help. Probably somebody nice was offered. The he makes it, I spend it attitude for budgeting in marriage confuses me. Okay, it doesn't matter. If that's not your situation, why does it matter? You know what confuses me is why people worry about stuff that doesn't affect them at all. But people are nutty. That happens all the time. What's the one purchase under $100 that's made your life better? Well, the difference per month for a washer and dryer, that's my favorite example, because that's what I splurge on in an apartment. I get an in-unit washer and dryer, and the amount per month that it adds to the cost of the apartment rent is less than $100. So I would say that one. There's probably more. I'm trying to think of some more as we go along here. How do you guys take care of budget when traveling? I find it really hard to convert between currency each time I tap, and also keep track of what's spent for that day, yesterday, and so on. Make the time if you need to track it every day. These people with the budget, when you make the budget, budget's not really this one, the working 2 jobs just to kill the 1 credit card. That's not really it. But these budget people are whiny, even more so than in the Ramsey subreddit. My goodness. How do you guys take care? Oh, we did that. Basic grocery tips. Okay, are these tips for? Shop 100% at Aldi. Okay, even after Kroger rewards, it's still the cheapest grocer in the U.S. Yeah, Kroger's got crazy prices on a lot of stuff, and I don't buy anything in there except their diet drinks. They're carbonated soft drinks that have no sugar in them. They have various type, and I buy those because those are 2 and 3 times cheaper than Coke brand. And so I buy that from Kroger. I also buy things that are marked down as well. You can find some going in there anyway. I take a look, like at the deli stuff, bakery, if stuff is marked down. I have been known to occasionally buy something from there, but yeah, and Giant Eagle, even more expensive than Kroger. Yeah, so don't shop there. Quit being dumb and shopping at high-priced grocery stores. Monthly expenses. I'd like to know what y'all. I'd like to know what y'all, Y-A-L, no apostrophe. It's Y''ALL, you all. It's a short form. Not YAL is not a word. Excluding bills, groceries, dining out, fuel, shopping. It doesn't matter what other people spend. You're so dumb for even being worried about that. You're dumb for worrying about that. Cut your expenditures down. That's all you need to do. But let's see. $4,000 a month on groceries, dining out, fuel, and shopping. Yeah, that's too much. Stop buying it. You're buying too much. For 4 people, probably ought to be able to do that for $2,000 or less. Wait a second. Yeah, way less. Way less. This has got to be time to play America's favorite game show. Troll or just a dumbass. Just a normal, average dumbass about money. Or it could be a troll. It's not like we live lavish, but just feel like that's above average. Oh, you think? You think that's above average? You are correct. We have a winner. Stop buying expensive stuff. Stop eating out. You don't have to eat out at all. And the advice is that you do not do that until you're on step 4. If you had to give one budgeting rule, what would it be? Don't be a dumbass. Cut out the things that can be cut out. And again, it depends. On step 4, you can budget in eating out. You can budget in vacations. On steps 1, 2, 3, there's none of that. That's a no. You have to tell yourself nar, as the people in Australia say. Just don't need to worry about budgeting if I'm already saving a lot. Yes, budgeting never ends. Especially a lot of people think if you make more money, then you don't have to worry about it. No, you have to worry about it even more, because the more money you make, the less people tend to keep track of it, and more can just bounce out without you realizing it. And you have no idea where it's gone. So the saving and budgeting are 2 completely different things, and you need to do both of them, of course. But you don't do any extra saving if you're on step 2. Now, do you? That would be, of course, doing it wrong. And granted, this is r/budget. These people are all not necessarily doing the Ramsey advice. Does anyone feel like for them, every time you go grocery shopping, prices are higher than last time? They're not. You're just over exaggerating. You're just being overreacting to it. How do you deal with constantly rising food costs? Buy different, cheaper foods. Go to Aldi instead of the Whole Foods. No spend weekends actually work? Sure they do. No spend months or years work as well. So nobody wants to do those. So, I mean, start with a weekend and then try to expand it to the whole week. And you save $781.32 per year by shifting my internet to a non-profits program. Okay. How do you budget when some expenses go on your partner's card? So we don't have partners. It's either a spouse or not a spouse. And if it's not a spouse, your expenses are separate. Your finances are separate. You should not be living together either. Per Mr. Ramsey, again, these fine people may not. The wonderful people, got a lot of wonderful people in all kinds of the subreddits. They may not be following Ramsey advice though, but of course I'm addressing it like that. First salary job, slowly moving off parents' payroll. 23 years old. Hey, how about we think about moving out? Oh, it did say move out from my parents about a year ago. Great. Living with my girlfriend. Boop, 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 doo. So, again, may not even know who Dave Ramsey is, but satisfied one of Mr. Ramsey's advices, as the kids say, to not live with mommy and daddy after you become an adult, but also living with girlfriend. You do not move in together and do money stuff together until you are married. You're doing it wrong. Oh, this is a budget. Let's check out a random budget here. We'll get back to the Reddit questions in just a moment. The Ramsey subreddit questions in just a moment. But this is fun because these questions can easily be applied to, even though they're not asked from a Ramsey perspective, they of course can be answered. Anything monetary can be answered with a Ramsey perspective. All right. Gross monthly 53.39. No, 53.33. Pre-tax investments. Okay. Rent, utility, $1,200. Insurance, $133. Car payment. Okay. So guess what? Ramsey, again, we're not doing investments. That's a NAR. Because you have a car payment. So that would be a thing. And that would free up money. Subscriptions, you can cut out some or all of those. People doing budgets that are posted on the Ramsey subreddit have cut out all the subscriptions. And guess what? They're still alive somehow. Again, that's 410. Oh, post-tax investments. Shouldn't be investing. You have debt. Debt is step 2. Paying off all non-mortgage debt is step 2. Step 4 is investing. Other savings, you should not have other savings. It should be a $1,000 emergency fund, and that would be it. Summary, the net remaining 718, all of that should go to the, and more, once you get the, the investments happening. Where's the say groceries? Oh, $400. You don't need to spend $100 on groceries a week, my friend. You're one person. Oh no, moved in with girlfriend. And so if you're floating the bill for her, that's where a lot of your money is going to. And that's part of why that is not the advice. So get just a couple more. And this is the, this is the budget one. Snowball method versus avalanche method. Okay. Go with God. Do what you will with that. The avalanche method, I'm going to go ahead and say that there's not 20 million documented cases of that working. I don't think there is. Because no other financial advice has that kind of track record. Budgeting ideas. Yeah, this will be fun. So I'll dive into this sometimes. In addition to hitting up when I run out of questions, in addition to hitting up the Ramsey, the Ramsey Baby Steps Community is what it's called on Facebook. And that actually is run by Ramsey Solutions. That is the only forum like that that's run by Ramsey Solutions. How did you budget with your partner? Again, you don't. With just a partner, we don't do that. And if this is not a romantic partner, if this is a business partner, we don't do that either. Too many issues can happen. Because like a recent call of the Ramsey Show, like 3-4 weeks ago, something like that. One of the partners just stopped doing work. How's my budget? Washington to New York, what sort of calls can I budget for? You can probably, if it's New York City, you can probably sell your freaking car and leave that in Washington. Use the subway. You know, plan for, I mean, people, I'm sure Uber makes a lot of money in New York City. I need a game plan, please. Okay, how about you do the baby steps would be it. But I get it that this is budget exclusive, or supposed to be, I guess. Found a budget that works for me. Angry walking out of Costco. Yeah, you don't need to go to Costco. Cancel that membership. There's no need for you to go to Costco, because almost certainly you're spending more money than you should on there and not just buying things that you want. Let's see. Spent $225, only bought what we needed in the house: milk, eggs, diapers, school snacks, coffee, toilet paper, etc. I noticed significant price increases on majority of the items. Yeah, go to Walmart. Costco's not cost effective anymore, I guess. Feeling hopeless about this economy? It's not the economy's fault, it's your fault. You're the one spending it instead of looking for cheaper items. Quit being dumb. Quit whining. So whining. Looking for tips on my hypothetical budget. Fun. Recurring payments and irregular month ends. How do you handle it? You got to have enough left over to pay it. You got to plan your spending out so that you don't go down to zero in your checking account before the next paycheck. How to best allocate funds. Re-up. Can anybody help me staying afloat in my account? Yeah. Make more money, spend less. That's, you know, standard Ramsey stuff. Interest income. Landline TV. You don't need a landline. Why would you possibly need a landline? There's got to be some crazy situation for you to need a landline. I just want one. You don't need it. Saving what money left for cheap. Spelled incorrectly. CHEEP. Rent. And account to checkbook app. Apple iOS. Yeah, every app does not sync up with every bank. So you gotta look out for that as well. Every dollar app that Ramsey puts out does not sync with every bank. So there you go. So found it. r/budget. Never been there. I think Sid or somebody may have hashtag mentioned that before. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. That's right. There I was scrolling down. Here we scroll up because we've already done all the ones below. Should I pause retirement to save for grad school? Good question. Grad school is an option, right? Do you have to take it? Let's read it. Let's read, shall we? We understand the way we get the entire situation. What would Dave do? Not get an unnecessary graduate degree is what Dave would do. I'm slated to graduate this coming May and will be working as a registered nurse, making 80 to 90K gross to start as a longtime Dave Ramsey viewer. Is that a person? This guy? No, I was going to say there's a similar post on the Ramsey subreddit. Could be the same person. Oh, this is the Ramsey subreddit. All right. Maybe today. Dementia. No, I'm fine. Longtime Dave Ramsey viewer. I will graduate with zero debt. Fabulous. I already have my 3 months emergency savings, so I'll be entering the workforce already on baby step 4. Great. I will be eligible to apply for an advanced practice nurse program, CRNA. Oh, is that what it stands for? Great. After I get 1 to 3 years of relevant nursing experience. So if all goes well, I'll go back to school where I'll attend a 3-year doctorate program. When I graduate, my income will basically triple. Maybe. People always assume that they are going to be the one that graduates and gets the perfect job and everything is fine with it. That is not 100% guaranteed. The problem is that most CRNA schools require you to sign a contract stating that you will not work during the program because of how intense it is. So people end up with $150,000 to $200,000 of debt on average when they graduate. The justification is that the average starting salary for CRNAs in my area is about $247, and that's great if you get that. If that happens, that is not guaranteed to happen. Meaning the debt could be paid off in 1 to 2 years with aggressive repayment, and that's the justification station that people do, but that might not work. And if you're a young lady, what if you meet a guy at the school or anywhere else and you get pregnant and then you want to stay home with the baby? How is the loan going to be paid off? This person not talking about a loan though, just saying that other people do that. Instead of taking on 6-figure debt, I'm wondering if it would be more reasonable to pause retirement contributions for 1 to 3 years and save aggressively before starting school. Yes. Treating tuition like a baby step 3B. Yep. I had a meeting with my parents and they said if/when I get into the program, I can stay with them for the 3 years. Moving in with mommy and daddy, not what Mr. Ramsey. That is not what Dave would do. That is not what Dave would have advised. Cut down on living costs, assuming I get into a school that's local, right? And see, we don't know if that's going to happen to either. So you can't plan all this stuff out all in advance. You don't know that you will graduate, and that's why we don't do it with it. And so it'll be sad enough if this person saves up all that money, a little ogle, saves up all that money, and then for some reason it doesn't work out, and then just all the money's gone. It took all that time to save. Lost out on 3 years of retirement savings as well. Had a meeting with my parents. Did you take minutes when you had the meeting? That sounds very formal. Regardless of fee, I feel like for me, the opportunity cost of waiting longer than that is too high, since I would be able to dump significantly more into retirement with an income like that. You don't have it yet. Stop talking like you have it already. Quit being a dumbass. You do not have that much income yet. You have to graduate that program first before you will get that. You can't automatically assume that you will graduate that program, even though apparently you managed to get through the initial phase of it, becoming a registered nurse. Congratulations on that. But that's all you can count on, is that you are able to work as a registered nurse and make 80 to 90K to start. That's all we know. That's all we have. You can't count on one penny more than that. I considered calling the show about this. You should, but I'm too shy. I'd love to hear others' opinion. Edit, change wording for clarity. Excellent. Approved. Edit 2. Thanks to everyone who weighed in after reading through the responses. I'm convinced it's best to not to pause retirement because the future is not guaranteed. True. For the sake of safety and security, I'd rather keep contributing because the loss of 3 years of compound interest alone could cost me over $1 million by the time I'm 65. Seems like the more wise option. I'm still fully shooting for CRNA, regardless of the discouragement. I see from others projecting their own experiences, observations, projecting their own onto you because there's what happened to them. Everything that happened to them could happen to you too. So don't dismiss it. Original concern was never whether I'd get in, but how to best handle the financial side. Yeah, see, you think there's not going to be a problem with you getting in, nor with you graduating. And you're dumb for that. Because you think that's you're already counting the money that you're gonna make once you get through it. I think it's worth it to wait an extra year if it means I can save more while getting more valuable critical care experience. Yes, yep. Even if I end up needing student loans, it would be mitigated by my savings and my income would take care of it quickly. No, there's no loans. You're a dumbass. This is the Dave Ramsey subreddit. You said, and you ask, what would Dave do? You're a dumbass for even considering the loans. But some people are nutty and they think, no, there won't be any problem. I'll be able to pay this loan off, no problem. Guess what? And then people have problems. And people tried to warn you about that, but you're too much of a dumbass. You asked for people to weigh in, but you didn't like it when they weighed in with stuff that could go wrong. Did you? No, you didn't. Parking Pumpkin 5264. It is that time of year, isn't it? Almost. October 1st on Wednesday. Today is Friday. $195.5 thousand paid off in 2 years. Hey everyone, we just had to share because we are so close. By the end of the year, my husband, 29, and I, 26, just babies, will have paid, to some of us, paid off $195,500 of debt in just under 2 years. All right, so that's a little bit too much, in my humble opinion. For me, it's a little bit too much. Why don't we wait until it's actually paid off? Because you're asking for trouble by, we're going to have it done by the end of the year. Here's all our stuff. We're debt free almost. Anyway, I mean, and so that makes it less special for me. And hey, guess what happened? They sold vehicle, wiped out 60K. They paid off debt is what happened. So, and that's great that they did that. But they still have some more to go. So a little bit premature on the debt-free stream. Correctly put the baby step 2 flare there. So you're doing it wrong. Maybe wanted some more encouragement or something like that. Who knows? People, of course, are nutty. It's just not my thing to do that. In 2 months, it might happen, even though many, many things could happen that would make that not happen. It's too easy to make that not happen. Chemical Audience 568. Looking for budget help. Been following Dave for a long time. I sadly have never gotten ahead, though. Well, if you don't have a freaking budget, or you couldn't cut things out of your budget, that would be why. Ding, ding, ding. Have a winner. This year has been the absolute hardest yet. And, well, prices are up, apparently. If you go to the wrong stores, I am looking for help with creating a budget or the best place to find budget help. We're paid once monthly at the beginning and weekly as well. Interesting. I feel like, for me, I did better when we were paid bi-weekly, but I just can't get into the swing with weekly checks. Okay, well, get used to it. It's still just math. Still just math, and you go on weekly instead of just bi-weekly. Now, the fact that you get paid at the beginning of the month, so I don't know what that is. Is that like commissions from the last month? What is that? I would ask why. Why is that? Because that's kind of nutty, unless it is something like commissions that are different, and then for the actual work you get paid the weekly checks. So it can be done if you did the budget the other way. You can do it this way as well. You may not like it, but you don't have any choice unless you go work for somebody else. Looking for guidance, Southern Work, 8008. Looking for some guidance as I'm a huge Ramsey fan. He's wonderful. All the people that work there. My wife, not so much. Well, yeah, all right. She might be a princess. She might not want to be restricted by a little thing called a budget. That happens a lot. We're recently a child. My wife is stay-at-home mom now. Yes, dude. Yes, this is exactly what I'm talking about. And if she was working before, she cannot spend any money anymore. Or at least not as much as she used to. And that's tough crap for her. Anyway, income went from 10K to 6K a month. Dude, that's almost 50%. Cost of living is around $45 to $500 a month. That's too close. Guess what we might be? We might be house poor. We might be house poor now. We might be house poor now. We have 10K left in student loans to pay off, with 50K in savings. If 50K is 5 times 6, you should only have at the 30K was what a 6-month emergency fund would be, or less, because if that 500 includes investing, that doesn't need to be done if there's an emergency. Other things that aren't 100% necessary shouldn't be in there either. So even less. So it could be more like 30,000 would be available for you to add to those student loans, and you only need 10K to pay it off. So you're doing it wrong. I want to pay off debt today. Do it. But let's see. She wants to wait and is nervous for our future, looking to guidance in what you would do and how to help my wife get on board. Well, ask her how having debt, debt leveraging is going to help your financial situation. Being in debt, having to make those payments, and she might say something like, but we'll have this $50,000 in savings though. And so, okay, so our finances won't get better. Okay. So, and on this, my name is Paul, and that's between y'all. Now, I will tell you, of course, if you are trying to do everything 100% the Ramsey way, well, that's exactly what I think you should do as well. But if you'd like to stay married what you and your wife can agree on together, compromise, compromise. Hopper, Chief Hopper from Stranger Things, explained it to 11 when neither of them could get what they wanted. So they did a compromise, and he said, and so halfway happy was how he pronounced it. And in this case, can stay married then if you do that. And so any compromise you can come up with your spouse, that would supersede doing exactly the Ramsey way. So that would be my guidance for you, friend. And as Mr. Ramsey often says, your problem, one of your problems might be that you came in too hot because you were worried about the debt and maybe she's not, despite being nervous for the future. She's not nervous enough to have a budget or even to pay off the debt, to follow proven financial advice. 20 million documented success stories again. And that's not enough for her, but you might not know that much about Ramsey to be able to tell her that. So, you know, she would have some answering to do about that. I would ask her about that. But the problem is, if you just decided, yeah, we're going to do this Ramsey stuff, and you came in and busted in the door one day after work, after listening to the show on the way home or something like that, or seeing it on your lunch break or whatever, and then you came home and said, hey, honey, we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this, and this, and this, we're going to sell the car, we're going to live on a budget, and blah, and we have to, we're going to take the savings and put a lot of it to the student loans, or 10K of it to the student loans. And see, that's what's weird. They got $50,000, and so after you put the 10K to student loans, there will still be 40K in there. So she's being kind of nutty, if you ask my opinion about it. But again, whatever you guys agree on should be what goes. And then maybe you stay married. What? Let's see, we got a Saturday and Sunday, probably both days. I'll do a not an after show, but answering your financial questions live stream. And we'll be talking about needing a car. People overuse the word needing, but transportation is one of the four walls. So we'll see about that. What does Dave say about buying a multifamily property as your first property? PPOR, I don't know what that says. Private property or rental. You don't combine personal house and rental house. You don't do house hacking. You don't do any of that crap. So that's a no for Mr. Ramsey on that. And I think that's what that is. We'll read the question. We'll read everything and find out exactly what's going on. But people always want to get around having to buy business stuff with cash only. They was going to try to get around it. And again, not asking for financial bro advice for it. It says, what does Dave say about buying it? And of course, you could have just Googled it and probably gotten a better answer than any of these 29 comments. You never know, though. Stay on one more year, then rent until 25 or move out. Now, Mr. Ramsey likes adults to live on their own or buy a cheap house. You probably can't afford it yet. You're probably not in a position to do that unless you have $11 million in savings. Let's see. Taxable investments, if it's not in a so you see, you shouldn't even have that in a brokerage account. Taxable investments, I think that's would just be in a brokerage account and not be retirement investing. You should not be doing any of that. I mean, unless that's your Down payment fund. 3K in NVIDIA, no single stocks, also in the Ramsey advice. And there's more stuff, so, and it's bullet pointed, which I always appreciate. So we'll get into that, but probably wanting to do it wrong, as usual. Coach, keep you motivated on your debt-free journey. Those might be fun. Spouse has a spending problem, but I can pay off the debt. How to respectfully build financial boundaries. It's up to you. Again, this is going to be my name is Paul, and that's between y'all thing. It's got to be a compromise between you guys, and as a person, an individual person, you can decide, oh, this is in my name, and I don't want to have any debt in my name. I'm going to pay it off. So I would appreciate you not running up debt on anything else. Yeah, you could say that, something to that effect, maybe worded a little bit nicer, but probably try to get on the same page first before you make the decision whether you're going to pay it off. How to respectfully build financial boundaries. Okay, and so you see, why didn't you talk about money? Maybe you did, but not enough before you got married. Why are we having to build those respectful boundaries? Financial boundaries. Why are we trying to build those now after marriage? You did it wrong. And so we'll dive into that. That'll be fun. Reborn Scenic. The dumb asses. Yeah, there was plenty of them. Although I'm about to finish up. Starts 8 p.m. Eastern time. Did I mess up getting gap insurance? Maybe. Paid off house. Excellent. Maybe step number 2 question. We'll see what that is. Advice needed. Please, I'm on baby step 1 as well as some others. Other questions about it? Or, oh, you're not on other baby steps. And that's something that people do incorrectly as well. Speaking of dumbasses, some dumbasses look at the list and just look to see what dumb crap they're doing. And like, if they are sending an extra $10 to the house, but they still have step 2 debt here, non-mortgage debt as well, they think they're in step 6 because they're sending $10 extra a month. No, you're just doing the baby steps wrong. You are in the lowest one that applies to you. So stop being a dumbass. 41 recently fired 2 kids. Hey, get another job instead of posting this. This is a duplicate. TransUnion just let me know of cyber incident. Okay, well, that's one of the things that they do. An honest question for Dave Ramsey followers. Can't wait. And it's probably somebody with trying to nitpick the advice or some other crap. Who knows? But it could be legitimate. You can go both ways there. And do I sell for cash offer as what? The house? If you want to sell the house and you're fine selling it for that amount, then why wouldn't you? But we'll look at all these, and as I said, probably, well, let me just do the plugs, and we'll find out exactly when the next streams are. Alrighty. Once again, I'm Coach Steve Money, Ramsey Solutions Certified Financial Coach, and you, yes, you. If you're having money problems or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule a free consultation/assessment with me by emailing coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Donations can go to paypal.me/CoachSteveMoney. Alternatively, the Cash App at $CoachSteveMoney. Alternatively, yet still, Walmart gift card to CoachSteveMoney@gmail.com. Upcoming streams, and that is subject to change. I could be moving any days this week, so any of these can go bye-bye. The Ramsey Show After Show, and that one is 11:05 a.m. Eastern Time. And that is Monday and Wednesday, September 29th and October 1st. Also, maybe Friday, October 3rd if I'm not moving that day. That seems likely for a moving day, though, at this point. Plus, answering your financial question streams at 8 p.m. All the ones before were 11:05 a.m., the Ramsey Show After Show. But this Saturday and or Sunday, September 27th and 28th, which is tomorrow and Sunday. Tuesday and Thursday, September 3rd and October 2nd. Alrighty. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment. And as always, don't be a dumbass and make smart financial decisions instead every day.